You know, it's funny how many people are out there promising to make you rich online, right?
Yeah,
It's like every time you turn around, there's a new guru, a new scheme,
absolutely.
some new AI thing that's supposed to be the secret. But let's be real,
Right.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, you're constantly bombarded with information.
Exactly.
It's like you're trying to drink from a fire hose.
Totally. And I think for a lot of people, it ends up feeling more like a maze than a clear path.
A maze with no exit.
A maze with no exit.
That's it.
You said it.
Yeah,
So we wanted to do something different for this deep dive. We
absolutely.
wanted to cut through the noise
For sure.
and really focus on what actually works.
Right.
We dug through a ton of information,
Yeah, we went deep.
and we've distilled it down to 3 of the most effective methods for making money online.
The best of the best.
And we're not just going to throw these methods at you and say good luck.
No way.
We're going to break them down step by step
Exactly. Actionable steps you can take.
so you can actually start seeing results.
That's the goal.
And one of the things that really stood out to us as we were going through all of this
Yeah.
was this AI tool from Google called NotebookLM.
Fascinating tool.
It keeps popping up.
It's everywhere for a reason.
And it's not just another AI,
It's different.
it has these really unique capabilities that can actually help you simplify complex information.
And build income stream.
Exactly.
It's like having a superpowered research assistant.
So how is it different from just like a general AI?
Well, one of the key things is that NotebookLM is designed to work with your specific information.
Okay.
So instead of just pulling from the entire internet,
Right.
it focuses on the documents and the sources that you provide.
So you're kind of training it on.
Exactly. You're giving it a specific knowledge base to work with.
I see.
And this is what makes it so powerful for extracting targeted insights.
And creating content that's actually reliable.
Right, because it's not just making things up.
It's based on real information.
It's grounded in your sources.
And one of the themes that kept coming up again and again in all of our research was
What's that?
this idea of understanding.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
It's not just about, following some quick tips or tricks.
It's about really understanding the market,
Understanding your audience,
understanding the process,
understanding how to provide real value.
because that's where the real money is.
Exactly.
So let's dive into our first method,
Okay.
which is providing content writing services to businesses.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
So the basic idea here is that businesses are always going to need content. They
Right.
need blog posts, they need newsletters,
Website copy.
all kinds of stuff.
And they're willing to pay for it.
Absolutely. They know content is king.
But a lot of them don't have the time or the expertise to create it themselves.
Exactly. So that's where you come in.
So we're using AI to kind of streamline this whole process.
Right. And specifically, we're using NotebookLM
Okay.
to take the client's existing expertise.
Like their past content.
Right. Their blog posts, their articles.
Maybe even things like internal documents.
Sure. Anything that represents their knowledge.
And you're feeding that into NotebookLM.
Exactly.
And it's creating new content based on that.
Exactly. It's like having a ghostwriter on steroids.
So the first step is to identify the right clients.
Right. You want to find businesses that are already investing in content.
And who are those businesses?
Well, there are a few key niches that stand out.
Oh, tell me more.
Coaches and consultants are a great example.
Oh, yeah. They're always putting out content.
Exactly. They need to share their knowledge to attract clients.
And they're usually pretty good at explaining things.
Right. They're natural teachers.
Okay, what else?
Tech startups and SaaS companies are another good target.
They're always coming out with new products and features
Right. And they need to explain those things to their audience.
through blog posts and articles and things like that.
Exactly.
Okay, any other good niches?
Financial advisors and real estate experts are another good one.
They need to build trust.
Right. And content is a great way to do that.
Okay, so we've got coaches, consultants, tech startups, financial advisors, real estate experts.
What else?
Marketing agencies themselves often need help with content creation.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they're busy working on their clients' campaigns.
So they don't always have time to create their own content.
Right.
Okay, what about healthcare and wellness brands?
They're another great niche.
Yeah, they're always looking to educate their audience.
Exactly. And they need to stay top of mind.
So they need to be putting out content consistently.
Exactly.
And I think this is a good point to mention that it's really helpful if you have some existing knowledge or interest in the niche that you're targeting.
Absolutely. It's going to make your life a lot easier.
If you understand the subject matter.
Right. You'll be able to connect with the clients better.
And you'll be able to create better content.
For sure.
So once you've identified your target clients, what's the next step?
You need to gather their existing knowledge.
So we're talking about their past content.
Right, their blog posts, articles, website copy. What about things like presentations or internal documents?
Absolutely anything that represents their expertise.
Even voice notes,
Yeah, even voice notes.
podcast transcripts.
All of that is valuable input.
And you're going to take all of this material
Right.
and feed it into NotebookLM.
Exactly.
And that's going to create a knowledge base for the AI.
Right. It's like giving the AI a crash course in the client's business.
And then what?
Then you can start using NotebookLM to generate content.
Like blog posts and newsletters.
Exactly.
So the AI is actually writing the first draft.
It's doing the heavy lifting.
And it's doing it based on the client's own expertise.
That's right. So the content is going to be in their voice.
It's going to be consistent with their brand.
Exactly. And it's going to be accurate.
Because it's based on their own information.
Right. It's not just making things up.
And what about things like outlines and chapter breakdowns?
NotebookLM is really good at that too.
Oh, wow.
Its architecture is designed to understand the relationships within your documents.
So it can create these really coherent structures.
Exactly. It's like having an AI editor.
But we're not just sending these AI drafts straight to the client, right?
No, no, no.
What's our role in all of this?
You're the editor. You're the curator.
Okay.
You need to review the content, make sure it's high quality.
So we're adding that human touch.
Absolutely. You're making sure it's polished and ready to publish.
And this is important, right?
Yeah. You don't want to just submit 100% AI-generated content.
It needs to have that human element.
Right. It needs to sound authentic.
Okay, so let's talk about pricing.
Sure. How much can you charge for this service?
Yeah, what are we looking at here?
Well, for one blog post per week, you could start around $500 a month. For
Okay.
a weekly newsletter, maybe $800 a month.
And what about for like a full content retainer?
You could be looking at $2,000 to $3,000 a month or even more.
Wow. So there's real potential here.
Absolutely.
Now, how do we actually find these clients?
The best way is to target experts who are already creating content,
Okay.
but maybe not as consistently as they'd like.
So they're putting out a blog post here and there.
Right, or they're sending out a newsletter every few months.
And we're offering to help them streamline that process.
Exactly.
And what's the best way to approach them?
Offer them a free sample.
Okay, so we're taking some of their existing content
Right.
and creating a new piece of content based on that.
Exactly. Show them what you can do.
That's a smart strategy.
It's a low-risk way for them to see the value.
Okay, let's move on to our second method,
Yeah.
which is enhancing online courses with learning materials.
This is a big one.
The online learning space is exploding.
It's huge.
So there's a huge opportunity here.
Absolutely.
So the basic idea is to help online course creators improve student engagement and completion rates.
Right, because the more students who complete the course,
The more testimonials they'll
and
get.
then the more courses they'll sell.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win.
And how are we doing this?
By creating supplementary learning materials.
Using NotebookLM.
Of course.
So give me some examples of these materials.
Sure, think about things like workbooks with practical exercises,
Okay.
cheat sheets that summarize key points,
Nice.
maybe even quizzes or flashcards.
So things that really help students absorb the material.
Exactly.
And the first step is to identify the right course creators to work with.
Right. Who are your ideal clients?
Okay, so who are we looking for here?
Business and marketing coaches are a good start.
They're always putting out courses.
Exactly.
What about health and wellness experts?
Another great niche.
Career coaches,
Definitely.
leadership trainers,
For sure.
spiritual and personal development coaches.
Absolutely.
So basically, anyone who's teaching something online.
Right.
And I think a good place to start is by looking at courses that you've taken yourself
That's a great idea.
or exploring platforms like Udemy and Kajabi.
Yeah, see what's popular.
And then once you've identified some potential clients,
The next step is to obtain their existing course materials.
so we're talking about their presentations.
Right, their videos, their PDFs.
And it's important to only use materials that they provide directly.
Absolutely. You don't want to run into any copyright issues.
Got it. So we get their permission and their materials,
Right.
and then we feed those into NotebookLM.
Exactly.
And NotebookLM can create all sorts of cool things,
It's really versatile.
like workbooks with exercises,
Right. Step-by-step guides.
cheat sheets with key takeaways.
Exactly.
And here's a bonus idea.
I love bonus ideas.
You can use NotebookLM to generate audio summaries of the lessons.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, students can listen to them on the go.
It's like having a portable tutor.
So how much can we charge for these course enhancement services?
Well, for a single course enhancement, like a workbook or a cheat sheet,
Okay.
you could charge a few $100s.
And for a full course upgrade?
Maybe $1,000 to $2,000 or more?
And if you offer ongoing support,
You can charge even more.
so we're not just creating materials,
Right.
we're helping course creators improve their business.
Exactly.
Now, how do we connect with these course creators?
Find a popular course in your niche.
Okay?
Create a sample workbook or cheat sheet.
Based on a small section of the course,
Exactly.
then reach out to the course creator
Show them what you can do
and explain how these materials can benefit their students.
and their business.
Makes sense.
It's all about showing them the value.
Okay, let's move on to our final method,
All right?
which is creating AI-powered audiobook and podcast channels from public domain books.
This one is really cool.
It's like tapping into a treasure trove of content.
Exactly.
So public domain books are books whose copyrights have expired.
Yeah, which means you can use them freely.
You can adapt them,
You can even monetize them.
and there are some amazing books out there.
Classics.
Timeless wisdom,
But a lot of people just don't have time to read anymore.
or they prefer to listen.
Exactly.
So that's where audiobooks and podcasts come in.
It's the perfect solution.
And YouTube has become a huge platform for podcasts.
It's massive.
So the opportunity here is to take these public domain books
Right.
and turn them into modern audio content.
And NotebookLM can help us do that.
So the first step is to identify suitable public domain books.
Right. You want to choose books that are going to resonate with a modern audience.
So what kind of topics are we talking about?
Well, philosophy and mindset are always popular.
Okay, give me some examples.
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Classic.
The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Another classic.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Timeless.
What about business and wealth building?
Yeah, what are some good ones in that category?
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Oh yeah, that's a must read.
The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles.
Another classic.
And then there's Self-Improvement and Psychology.
Okay, what do we have there?
As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
I've heard of that one.
And even the writings of Sigmund Freud.
Wow, so we're going deep.
We're going all the way back.
Okay, what about other topics?
There are tons of books on natural remedies
Interesting.
and even esoteric knowledge.
like what?
The Kabbalion.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's a classic text on Hermetic philosophy.
So where do we find these public domain books?
There are a few great resources online.
Like what?
Project Gutenberg,
Okay,
Google Archive,
got it.
and the Internet Archive.
We'll make sure to include links to those in the show
Okay,
notes.
perfect.
So once we've chosen a book, what's next?
You download the book in a digital format
Right.
and upload it into NotebookLM.
And then what?
NotebookLM will analyze the text,
Okay.
identify the chapters,
Uh-huh.
and extract the key themes and lessons.
And then the magic happens.
Right.
NotebookLM converts the text into audio.
It creates a narrated version of the book.
So it's like an audiobook.
Exactly.
But we didn't have to record anything.
No, the AI does it all.
Wow, that's incredible.
And a huge time saver.
So we've got our audiobook.
Now what do we do with it?
We need to publish it.
Right, where do we put?
YouTube is a great option.
Huge audience.
And you can also distribute it on other platforms.
Like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
So people can listen to it wherever they want.
Exactly.
And to make your YouTube videos more engaging,
Yeah,
you can use AI image generators
like Midjourney or Doll.
to create visuals.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so how do we make money from all this?
Well, once your YouTube channel meets the requirements, you can start earning ad revenue.
Okay.
You can also sell your audiobooks directly.
On platforms like Gumroad or Audible?
Exactly.
What about Patreon?
That's another great option.
You can offer bonus content to your patrons.
Early access to new episodes.
Things like that.
Right.
And as your channel grows,
You can explore affiliate marketing
okay.
and even brand sponsorships.
So there are multiple income streams here.
Absolutely.
And you can scale this up pretty easily.
Right. Once you have a system in place.
You can just repeat it with other books.
Exactly.
And you can even create themed podcast networks.
Like a network focused on business books.
Or a network focused on philosophy books.
It's a great way to build a loyal audience.
So we've got 3 really powerful methods here.
They all leverage AI.
And they all have the potential to generate significant income.
But the key is understanding.
Understanding the needs of your audience.
Understanding how to use these AI tools effectively.
And understanding how to provide real value.
Because that's what it's all about.
So for you, the listener,
Yeah.
think about which of these methods resonates with you.
Which one excites you?
And then take that first step.
Start exploring.
Dive into the AI tools we've talked about.
Check out those public domain book resources.
And think about how you can apply this concept of simplifying complex information.
to create value for others.
And to build a successful online business.
That's the challenge.
Go out there and make it happen.
We believe in you.